And then, as you can see, it finished the music. So it's supposed to load me directly into the career, and then we'll be good. Yeah, it opens us to this page, wide receiver in Nevada. Crazy part is, I've been a wide receiver in Nevada like twice. You know what I mean? I've made multiple receivers, but I'm pretty sure. Oh, I see it's on Velocity. They tried it. They tried. Yeah. Accelerated clock on. It makes the game pass by way quicker. Having it off was I was spending 20 to 30 minutes on one singular game as QB, throwing 50 passes a game. I had the most attempts in college football, but like a couple, maybe 100 and something. You know, it was too much, and it's like because of the fact we have no play clocks to limit us. I mean, like no accelerated clocks to limit us. So, all right, everything's fixed now. Our PT is going to be very, very limited. We may or may not get some PT in this game. Usually when you go down big, like I expect us to, but we're not. Happens. Alright, so it's a Hail Mary.
That's the end of the second quarter. That means it's time to
my God. Oh, wow. Hail Mary and the clock ran out because it's accelerated clock. That's amazing. Alright, we're down bad, coach. You can put me in now. Thank you.
Offense gets set for second.
I realize if you try to make a name for yourself in these little like increments of time you got, you can't lose.
Third down conversions are a huge stat, and this one would be.
See, I hate being slow.
They can pull it off. Throws to the wideout. Rolls it in.
And I love the awareness.
Yeah, it also takes you not running your routes to get open and stuff like that, you know, or running them in the right direction. No, that was an extremely slow and terrible pass. Not my fault. I mean, we could review the highlight later, but that was an extremely slow and terrible bullet pass. Not my fault at all.
Nevada takes over as the offense returns.
As you can see, they don't like. I hated Nevada because our playbook wasn't intricate, and I hated being a wide receiver here altogether.
Do that again, and you'll be right here beside me for the rest of the game.
He just did it again. His passing is so slow, and he throws it so far ahead. I don't care. I'd rather him throw 2 picks and tarnish his own name. But when a quarterback throws multiple picks while trying to target you in this game, they will bench you. I've been a starter. Quarterback threw a pick at whatever school I was at before Colorado, and they benched me for the rest of the quarter. And it was kind of like, yo, that's kind of crazy. Same with cornerback. They will bench you for the rest of the quarter, even if you didn't let up a touchdown. It's the fact that your team let up a touchdown, so they bench you for the quarter. I've been through it all, bro, on this game. Bench started, all the crap. Everything you could think of, I've had happen. So, ain't no point in simulating the training. Just go do them, build your coach trust, and by week 5, I can be a wide receiver 2. That's what happened. I went from wide receiver 3 to wide receiver 1 in like 7 weeks. And thought it was all cool and stuff till I started actually having to play. Couldn't catch, couldn't haul the passes, and I needed to haul in. All that stuff. Like when, like that pass right there, where he led that pass is completely opposite from where I asked for it to be. But that's not my fault. But with us being so dang slow, and then I'm going up against an entire defense, it makes it more difficult. He's probably like a 70 or 80 speed. That's a typical speed for not 70 flat, but like in the 70s range. See, the good thing about the zones is they don't move much, so it's way easier to like just find the little pockets in the defense, see how they react. Like I knew he wasn't. They weren't reacting well to that, so I just can call for it in the middle, find the soft spot, and just drive through that. I could have easily took it there, but I'll take it here. More comfortable. Like even that, like when they're like biting on like a certain play, I just let them bite on it. Like, but that's gonna mess us up completely there. Usually, like yeah, usually when they're biting on a play like that, I just try and let them bite. I'm just trying to use all the time I got right now to get this other touchdown. I'm not gonna get it. Hang it. Finish with silver. Can't have that happen though. This is my career and I can control how well we do. The drop is no bueno. It will give us -10 coach trust in game. That's 2 back-to-back drops. But like that's the one thing. And to think that we were like literally one good play away from reaching is crazy. But, you know, it's just like I know how to abuse these zones and stuff. It's just like when you really want that deep ball, you can't be as hungry for it as you should be in this game, and I hate that. But it's whatever. It's a part of the process. That drop knocks us down back 1. All this crap, you gotta deal with it. And I hate the fact that some skill moves force you to completely give up on what you've been processing or developing or whatever it is that people like to call it. Yeah, I'm gonna just start calling for it quickly and just take it in. You know, I didn't know what he was gonna do there. I said they'd be eager. They'd be real eager to catch you. Terrible ball placement. I need 2 more good plays. Here we go. Pause. I said something in my brain. Said pause out loud. So as you can see, the other wide receiver is really close. I lost my pocket knife, bro. And I like always lose it in the most inconvenient place. I know I don't have it where I thought I put it at, which is weird because I always will put it there if I'm going to go do what I was going to go do, but it's not there. And I know no one stole it because where I was at, no one had access to what I needed, you know, access to my stuff, so. I'm okay with taking an injury risk. We're coming off the bench. We're playing Troy. Troy's going to give us a hard time, but it's not going to be anything extreme or special. And you know, when I lose stuff like my pocket knife, bro, I keep it for protection, and to know that okay, just in case I need to protect myself, I don't have it. Doesn't make me feel uneasy, but I'm disappointed because it's like, yeah, it was a $6 or $5 pocket knife, and it can be repurchased or replicated or whatever it is. But then when you're in a situation where you can't do that per se at that moment in time, then it's a whole different scenario. It's a whole different ball game. All that kind of crap. So, yep. Had it the whole day, and then I went to go do that one thing, and I lost it. So, disappointing. Disappointing situation, but
Welcome to Troy, Alabama.
We're not gonna get any PGA game either. Don't expect getting no good. Oh, okay, maybe we do. Second and 10, what you need from me, coach?
Line getting set on second down.
See, I don't like this camera.
Looking to throw, it's Kramer. Unloads to the wideout.
He's just absolutely inaccurate, and it takes. Excuse me, but like where I raise my hand versus where he throws it, so terrible. I miss that tight end, having a wide receiver tight end duo. But it just makes me look terrible.
Nevada takes over as the offense returns to the field. Boy, 3 and out last time, David. They'd like to be more productive this time around.
Yeah, in the last drive,
Here goes our
nothing really
sub.
clicked. No rhythm, got off the field.
One thing about us, though, when we was at Nevada, we was probably the best blocking wide receiver in all of college football, no doubt. So,
Second
as long as I can block
maybe
good, I'm
they've
fine.
got time to get one more snap off before the 2-minute warning. We've reached the 2-minute warning, and this thing has been one-sided, and they hope to at least have something to feel good about going into halftime.
Didn't even request for it. He just threw a terrible pass.
Didn't get a ton on the return, but the most important.
Yeah, oh, my quarterback? Yeah, when I was in Nevada, he had like 20 picks. He already has like 4 this season. He's terrible.
They've already punted 4 times in this game, and they're about to run the guy out there for a 5th time if they don't pick up the first down here. And
Terrible ball
his
placement.
3rd pick of the day. His head has to be spinning. And a big return.
Terrible. I was more than open. All you had to do was throw it down the middle, through the middle, over to me. But the quarterback's trash here in Nevada. He's absolutely terrible. I mean, and the worst part is I'm coming off the bench and I got to deal with this, you know.
He's looking to throw.
Like, look, I'm not even requesting it. He sees that I'm open. He sees that I can run my routes, and he just can't deliver. He's not an accurate quarterback. He's not decent. He's not good. He's terrible. He's horrible. He's a horrible QB. We're down 44-7 in the 3rd quarter. We're going 0-13, bro. We're terrible at 12, whatever it is that we can go.
And how about that interior defense stuffing the
Also, here's another thing I hate about this. When you're a running back or a wide receiver, they will sub you out on 3rd downs every chance they get. And then it's your fault. I don't even think I caught a single ball today, did I? No. Have more blocks than catches, bro. So we're catching up to this next guy. A few more good practices and whatever else crap it is. And so by week 5 we can be a starter. It's doable. We about to get smoked this week too, so always make a good impression with her. It doesn't help anything. But if you flaunt her, push her off, it puts you in a pretty bad position. Always take this NIL. But read it. 1 energy per week. You get plus 500 followers. No. I don't need followers. I don't need followers right now. I'm trash. I'm coming off the bench. My quarterback, every time he throws me, he's on a pick. It's a bad look. It's a terrible look. Going back to practice again. Hopefully we can pull something out this game that's far more efficient than when we pulled out last game. And then maybe by the next week, or like I said, week 5, we'll have a wide receiver battle that's in the works. But what we have to remember is I do have to run my routes to my strengths. If I know I'm not fast, I'm not trying to run in front of a linebacker and risk my quarterback throwing a pick like he would do regardless of what player I was running in front of. So it's stuff about like that. Like, even though he should be able to deliver that, I was back there long enough for me to be uncomfortable with the fact that I was anticipating he could deliver that pass. It's a bad look. Like the quick stuff like that, and then we get it out here. Just gotta hold on to the ball. There's no telling how many balls I dropped with that. Oh, the hurdle in practice, I was most guaranteed that you can probably get it if they're pursuing you, and the safety's like one of the first guys to get to you. Right there, I just needed the catch. I didn't want to waste any more time. I just realized how much time I have on the clock, and I need to be reserving that time. I could have tried the hurdle there, but I might have fumbled. And that's that. Gotta restart our drill. It's just like, it's stuff like this, like where I know my quarterback, like for instance, I know he can't deliver that, so I have to do stuff like that to get open, what I shouldn't have to as a receiver. You should just be able to deliver to me and find me on the outside shoulder. And so, like, possession catching when I don't want to possession catch is like, it's part of the game's mechanics. They know how trash my quarterback is, and that, like, the fact that I dropped that is insane. But I can hold on to getting blasted in the back paws. Like, that's horrible delivery, if you ask me. If I have anything to say about it, it's terrible delivery. Where I asked if, like, I still did a possession catch, even after I catch on the run. Still more possession catching. I don't understand it. And then he drops a ball that's in his hands. It's like, these are the things I deal with because of how low the overall. It's just like, you know, there's things on offense I can complain about, things on defense I can complain about. On offense, it's just the wide receivers dropping balls they shouldn't drop. Defense is the fact that regardless of how well you cover them, they can still catch any ball or try anything against you. As a quarterback, your O-line, regardless of what university you attend, is going to be trash. It doesn't matter how good you are at the game. You know, if your O-line's trash, and they're trash. As you can see, like, on this drill, literally last time, I was able to get goal with ease. Now it's just like, like, look at that. Any other time you throw it in front of me, you throw it straight to me on that one. I don't understand it. He's playing like an idiot. You know, I just got to deal with this. Now that unless they put a backup in already by week 2, that would be absolutely terrible. But our quarterback is absolute garbage, and I have to keep running the same routes just to get a chance at being successful. The corner route is the least abused route in all of this video game. But by me, it's the most. Corner routes, corner fakes, all of it, I'm going to show you. You just cut the inside of them like that. You pull them inside, the defense won't move until you go outside. I'm telling you, it works every time. pull them inside. Defense gonna move to you outside, and then they don't do that. It's easy. There's no need of me doing it there. He's playing the flat coverage. But I wanted to see what our quarterback was gonna do, throw a pick, even though I tapped it. Like, now it's gonna be harder against this guy because he knows how to cover me. Simple things. But I can easily hit him here at the goal line for the tutty. Give me one more matchup on the outside, please. Got him. Baked. Not gonna get it. It's okay. So it's just like the most overpowered route to run is not a hitch. You need to run corners. Streaks against much slower receivers. Call for L2 and X, which is a freeform pass, and they'll throw it to you. Actually, if you just tap the button, they'll usually just throw it to you. My leadership up, and now we're just unprepared for the test. We're not clueless. I'm telling you, like, people love Drake too much. Like, what has Drake done for the community? But separate us. And then people will say, that's not Drake, that's Kendrick. No, that's Drake. Drake pushed Kendrick and them guys to that point where they literally are telling us not to rock with them no more because they're not like us. In the most literal sense, Drake just has no idea what it's like to be like in our seats. As music lovers who may or may not have came from very difficult backgrounds and extremely impoverished communities. In the most technical sense, Drake just is not like us in any way, shape, or form. But Drake fans hate to hear that. It's like, well, he's just a good artist. No, he raps about his hitters that he's buying off. Now, it's different when you're living that lifestyle, but when you're not technically living that lifestyle and you bought that lifestyle, in the most sense of, a lot of those people are being paid to be with you, or they know they'll receive some pay by being around you, whether it's through you or not, whether it's from brand deals or not. Lil Yachty loves him, you know, and I ain't gonna lie, Lil Yachty has done his thing as an entrepreneur, and as a pretty good artist. But without Drake, the hype for Lil Yachty would be below average, because it really is. I mean, his music is deep. I like his music for certain. I love a lot of his music, a lot of his songs. Part of Me is probably one of my favorite songs. And Rooting for the City Girls, I'm not really a big Caribou fan, but she was a pretty decent artist when she's been making music. I mean, she gets the streams, whether people like it or not. But ain't no nigga that I trust to knock off the dust. It's just a crazy thing for you to say, Lil Yachty. But in the sense of the ridery, it's more common than not. A lot of like non-music, like truthful music fans don't understand that there's a level of riding. And I'm not being on somebody's side, right? I mean, like, whatever you say, big bro.
Second
that
down coming up.
frames a lot of the artwork that we call music.
Back to pass, it's Kramer.
Oh my God! If he just keys that, I have it.
This defense is physical and
That's a ball that this offense.
So to me, it's just a slight bit disappointing when I see like a lot of these fans saying that we're targeting Drake. We're not.
Nevada takes over
As a person who has
not a lot of time
come from a community where
they can cut into this lead.
And this drive isn't a must score, but man, you look at the scoreboard, you're down 2 scores. Jesse, you got a good opportunity to create
that kind of music is all that defines us culturally.
Yeah, it's important to create that moment.
Terrible
Into
pass.
traffic, it's picked off. Oh, he was hoping to make something out of that return, but they'll have it.
I try to make it easy for him, but a seam route is quite simply one of the easiest routes to complete. It's like a fade, just throw it to the inside. And you're standing on the inside, so just throw it in front of yourself almost. But he just can't complete it because he's a terrible quarterback. But, you know, guys like Drake feed off of marginalized communities because we are one of those communities where the music that he makes, that hip-hop music, is one of the most key and important things to the uprising of that culture. But you do have to look at it from the perspective that the only people that realize that are the ones involved. A lot of the people that don't understand that are the ones that are like, why do you guys hate Drake so much? Why wouldn't I hate Drake? You know, he has, and it's not about the allegations as many make it seem. It's just like, number one, how do you conjure up those allegations without there being questions of these things being persistent? Messaging minors. Number one, I've never messaged it. I don't even feel comfortable messaging my own younger cousins. Not in the sense because it's perverted, but it's in the sense it's a minor, you know. Why would I want to be messaging a minor? But for it to be a minor and a young girl, how does that not make any person uncomfortable? Whether it's a truthful allegation or not, there's more than enough proof to be to develop some siding here, you know. But in my opinion, I think Drake is a decent artist. More than decent, he's a good artist. He gets numbers done. But here's the thing about him. People don't like to talk about it, but I think it's real, and I think it's really key, and it's a part of the consistency in a lot of our lives. That color plays a factor. You know, Drake isn't a dark-skinned black guy like of a Kendrick Lamar or many of his fans. He's a light-skinned guy who has a Jewish mom and a black dad. And that's been his likeness and image. That's what it's been derived from. He's light-skinned and he's mixed. And so when that light-skinned mixed guy who has a beard develops into what we call a superstar, like, in my opinion, I don't think he's entirely one of the most creative artists we'll ever see. Not at all. Never to be. He's never to be one of those. So it's like a slight bit disappointing when you understand that a lot of people's perspectives are framed off of likeness rather than general analysis of the situation or scenario at hand. I can easily say Bayern Munich has enough guys to win a World Cup if we could put Bayern Munich by themselves in the World Cup against all these other countries, but that would just be because of my likeness rather than my proper assessment of how the game of football would be played. My likeness definitely does not have Tom Brady as the greatest of all time. In my opinion, I think RG3 would have been the greatest of our time if he didn't get injured. And anyone can say if and but it's all development of opinion and likeness rather than just general analysis of the facts, the stats, the truth. There's some truth thrown in there about the things that Drake had or had not done, and a lot of his fans said it wasn't true even when proof is there. I'm not saying that proof is the primary source of information, But it in the most technical sense, in the scenario, I would consider it to be a very primary source in regards to how we receive our information in regards to the scenario at hand. But a lot of Drake's fans did not like that. They hated that, and it bothers them so, you know, and it's sad because it's like, if Kendrick was a predator, or being deemed a predator by any artist, especially if it was Drake, it would be a very different thing. The mirror of events would be completely different. The contrast would be completely different here, in my opinion. And it's not necessarily just my opinion, it's facts, it's the truth. Let a dark-skinned man do what a light-skinned man does, then we're facing some very, like, you know, questionable perspectives on how to deal with a specimen of this sort. I don't care who it is. Messaging my daughter, my young daughter, she just got into fame and all this stuff, and it almost seems like a form of grooming. And it's not because it's believable, but it's more so only not believable because someone said it who has a name, but it's believable because it's been in our faces. They've been calling you a predator for years. You kissed an underage girl on stage. All of these things, and it's okay because you're Drake. You opened up about your relationship with SZA, but I'm confused because at the time SZA may or may not have been of age. Whether the legal age of consent is 1,032,000 to 10 or not, it doesn't matter. It's still not. It's not questionable to you. Someone who could not legally drive a car by themselves, even with a license, you know, is what piques your interest. That's my question. You know, a freshman in college is what piques your interest. A high school graduate is what piques your interest. Those aren't women, those are still children. In the most literal sense, they're children. And so, you know, for me, it's just questionable because people are now praising this sort of behavior as if it were something to be proud of. Why would I be proud that my favorite artist is a predator? That's OD. That's OD. You know what? But, you know, they saying that this was trash. You know, that this covered a lot of things said by Drake. It will go down as one of the greatest moments in pop culture because he addressed a guy who people call the top dog for all his dogs. Right? Was the name of the album. And Kendrick did this for all the black men out there that can't even get their music into the boardroom with the guy who's the head of the company, you know, or the label. I can't get my music in there. Why? Because it's like Drake roaming around here who got music out, rapping about the lifestyle I live. Like, you can rap about being rich and famous and getting women, but then the whole thing, like, you got these clickers and these shooters that come catch me at the party or whatever he be rapping about. Why? This isn't you. You're the guy from Canada who hung out in St. Louis with family. You didn't grow up there, you know? Just because I hang out with a group of people doesn't make me them. When you are that, the ones that are the topic of discussion never receive the level of praise that the guy who isn't deserves. You know, they never, I mean, the other one that he gets, you know, they never receive that level of praise. I got them shooters in your alley and they come get you. And then I get them clickers out up in your alley and Cardi, they come get you. You love that? What's the development in that? What's the mindset? How do we assess this on a more critical level? Talk about it. Let's have a conversation about how J. Cole admitted in a song that when the gunshots go off, he turns into a track star, but he acts like he's some hardcore rapper. And then he admits it's just a persona for fame. He knows this isn't truly him. This isn't creativity. This is for the fame. It's clout. And a more strategic level to assess it. There's nothing great about anything that J. Cole or whatever his name, Drake, it drops in a bar. Nothing creative, nothing strategic, nothing that it could completely alter how the game will be looked at in a positive manner. So, also they sub you out if you fall on the ground too. It's amazing. I love it. They do that a lot. I could literally be in a 1st and 10 fall on the ground, and wide receiver one, he'll sub me out.
The give to the tailback. These little gains can start to add up as he gets it up to the third.
So to me, it's like when I see the Drakes of this world in real life, it bothers me because it's like it's all a persona for you, and it's all for comedy for you, or for the looks, or for the clout, for the fame. But to others, it's a very real part of the lifestyle that they have not chosen to live, but that a lot of them were forced to live based off of the system that we're so hard to, I mean, we're trying so hard to avoid being completely a part of at this point in time. And, you know, we're the most imprisoned race in the United States of America, and yet a guy who's only half of what we are could come and make music about it and live scot-free, versus even if I send a text message about it, I go straight to jail. You know, or I'm a suspect, whether I did the crime or not. You know, just the inclination that I may have had involvement is enough. But for a guy like him, there's been no federal cases brought up. You know, but you got to remember, money is the, could be a race thing. What do I know? But people are forgetting, like, since Drake got money like that, bro, it's kind of like, if he needed to cover it up, he could, you know. And it's like a reality that nobody wants to face, but, like, we can't forget that Drake got money to cover those things up. So fear that he has done.
Wants to throw on 1st down. Nice defensive play to get a hand in there and knock it away.
So, you know, versus guys who've actually done it, you know, they come out with a song saying, yo, I did that crime and I shot him and I did that thing that they say don't do, but I did it because I wanted to, because I am that dude, so I did it because I wanted to. If I did that post committing a crime, the investigation that's now reached its peak point, versus Drake can literally rap about crimes that other men have committed, whether it's true or not, you know, and thrive off of that, you know, little things like that, you know. That's why people don't like Ian. But I don't really, he's just talking about living a lavish lifestyle is mostly what I hear from Ian's music, and when he talking about he gonna catch that boy, he might do it. You know, white dudes stand on business, but it's not more so perpetration, because they come back to the reality they're not like that. But Drake, on the other hand, he's just a guy who puts on this persona that people so love because what, his voice sounds nice? Have we not heard about the mermaids who lure people into the water and kill them? You know what I mean? It's kind of like, here's my thing. The eyes are the eyes are like, you know, mirrors. A lot of people think the eyes are the gateway to the soul, but it's the ears. The ears access the soul so easily, so efficiently, so successfully. And a lot of people don't realize that the kind of music you listen to can completely frame your identity, and it's simply that. I know an inner city kid who listens to hardcore rap that talks about guns and murder is most likely a kid that will go ahead and listen to a guy who doesn't really do that. And it's just the sound of that sounds great. I listen to rap music. I do for certain. for certain. And I listen to music where they talk about killing the ops. But guess what? That's what I grew up around, and I didn't let that frame my identity at all, because here I am as a college student, doing pretty well for myself, doing pretty decent for myself, playing a sport that does not favor people of my community in any way, shape, or form. When you come down to the realization that if you look at a roster, a guy like me isn't the first thing you see. I hate this game completely. But that doesn't frame. I don't let that frame my identity. Hey, I'm the outlier, you know. But that's what we're taught to do, is we let the outlier in us frame our identity. And guys like Drake, you know, rather pretend not to be an outlier than better frame themselves for a more positive look on what identity that they, or persona that they could put on and perpetrate to those looking in on them. He decides to choose the exact thing that guys like me get criticized for if I were to do, by even my own race, whether it's by one of the top producers, whether it's by my mom or my dad or my pastor or my best friend's mom or my best friend's dad. The same thing that I would get crucified in the media for blatantly indulging in is the thing that Drake has made money off of. Talking about somebody caught the body, all of these. If I said this, I would be crucified. And the worst part is the people that don't realize it are the ones that really need to understand. Like, hey, like, the real reason that he gets away with this isn't because he's like you. It's not necessarily just the money, but there's some bigger things involved. You know, you don't just kill somebody because you wanted to do it. There's more to it, usually. Why'd you kill your best friend? Oh, you know, you just got mad over the game. And like, have you always wanted to kill your best friend? No, I don't think I did. And why did you do it in the first place? Well, because he got me so riled up. And the whole week he's been, you know, and that's why they ask more questions when people commit crimes. Why did you kill your best friend? Why are you acting like this? Why are you putting on this persona? Why are you perpetrating? You just want to know these things. But it's guys like him that don't answer those questions. We realize, you know, I don't think Drake in any sense is a good guy. I mean, for multiple people to have beef with you isn't a say that people are jealous of you, but it's more so that there may be a problem underlying that may or may not have been brought to the surface, and whether it's been brought to the surface and not taken seriously, or just genuinely people just don't come out and talk about it, is an entirely different thing in itself. But it just goes to say a lot about like what reality is. That's why people who have crimes committed against them say, oh no, it's no big deal, after almost dying, after almost enduring one of the most tragic events in your life. It's no big deal. Why is that? Oh, because I don't really want to make a big deal out of it. But why not make a big deal out of it? You know, you could have died today. No, it's fine. You know, I know that, you know, my community, you know, it's common where I'm from. All of that kind of crap. You know, that's what they promote. That's what we're taught to do, is avoid every question that we might have, because it may lead us far further from the reality that they want us to face. All of these little things that people have no idea about are the things that like completely frame our identity as people. I had no idea that you were dealing with that. Yeah, you know, it's fine. You know, I just deal with it at home. Try not to bring my personal life into work. Bro, you got cheated on, bro, by your wife, and she's trying to take the kids, and she's trying to blame you for everything. No, it's fine. I don't bring my personal. I don't tell this entire truth, because I know by me telling the entire truth, I put myself further and further away from the position that I would like to be in. Well, bro, if you just tell us, like, you know, what it is, bro, we got you. Man, come on, bro, like, we your teammates. Oh yeah, I completely understand that we're teammates and we're supposed to be like brothers. You know, we're your guys, we're your employees. You know, but then it's like the main issue can get away with this. But if I bring it to light, then who's gonna believe me? You know what I mean? That's what this whole Drake thing has turned into. Some people have been voicing their opinions about Drake for years, and then now that it's coming to light, you got some people coming out and speaking up. But then you got guys that aren't speaking up, and you want to question, like, how much is he paying you? You know, or Why do you fear this man or fear this thing or that so much more than you should ever fear a thing in your life? It's because of the name he's built for himself. It's because of his image and likeness. For someone to sit here and say they hated President Obama in the midst of his success would be detrimental to everything he's ever developed. So guess what? They waited until he was after president, not because they didn't want to tarnish his name, but they knew it would tarnish them by doing so. So we waited until Drake made it a clear conflict after he did not press the issue necessarily. Kendrick did with his verse and like that. But we waited for Drake to respond because he fell into the trap of someone who uses brain power far over likeness and image to create a point. The most popular kid in class cheating off of another student's paper and saying the answers out loud is because of likeness and image. Versus, and being picked at that point in time because of likeness and image. But when you consider that the guy who knows it all, most likely is not going to get credit for everything that he's done in regards to the success of somebody else, it's completely, it's sickening. It really bothers anyone who really knows that that's a common reality in this point in life. And it's more so stating back to the truth that Drake is not a guy to love. He's not a guy to kiss up to. He's not a guy to treat like a saint, because he's no saint. He's no genius. He's no incredible guy. He's no God. But people love Drake because it's Drake. He's developed a likeness in a society that honestly couldn't be matched, because a lot of the guys who are liked even more than him, or to the extent that he is liked, don't even receive the credibility that they deserve. People love Travis Scott. Somebody dies at Astroworld and it's his fault, and they take him to court for it. But Drake can literally have accusations of possibly soliciting a minor, texting minors, indulging in inappropriate activities in the past, on recording with minors, and nobody will bring it to court, right? But somebody can literally die in an accident that people will blame it on influence, and that's how he's perceived or portrayed in this movie. Versus a guy who literally has allegations of possibly soliciting a minor or being a predator. I don't understand it. It bothers me, and it hurts more to know this is a black man. It ain't like Drake black. Well, I'm black because my daddy black. No, I'm probably black. Like, you look at him, he definitely black. Type of thing. Not know where you from, or you got a white dad, white mom. All likeness and image. If Drake was a darker skinned individual doing this, he would be.
This offense has a second down play. He's looking to throw. And to get rid of it quickly. That pass is incomplete, and they might be fortunate.
So, he's doing great in life. But is that all we look to in regards to, how we perceive someone? Just because people like listening to Drake doesn't make him this incredible, positive person who only cares about others rather than himself. Think about the music that he makes. Think about things he says about women in his songs. How many sneak disses he's done to women. Sneak dissing one of the greatest female athletes of all time. Not even sneak dissing directly, he's dissing her and her husband, because you couldn't keep her in a relationship is far more than enough information for a guy like me to hold on to.
It's incomplete. Almost
that was a terrible pass. But when I saw all them little tweets and all the crap and all those things about Drake, I've never really been a fan of Drake. His music's catchy, but you gotta consider that he doesn't write it all himself. Right? I gotta give it to him. No, his voice does match his lyrics, but in a sense of some of the stuff he says, my niggas go crazy, wallahi. Your people go crazy. It's not you. You're not that guy. So why are we hyping Drake like he's this, incredible, amazing being who can alter the game on a more strategic level because of his people. You know, I just never liked it. Never will. Never get past that point when I think of Drake. Draw the line. Drake's not worth $200 or $300 to see him sing the same songs you can hear in person just for it to be either a background track or a voiceover for like, it's just what it is. Or what is it? The vocal tuning and crap. Why would I go spend $300 for something like that when you can easily throw in a pair of AirPods and receive possibly the same exact concert experience as you receive if you put it on stereo or something like that? It's just like, I feel bad for true Drake fans that call themselves Drake fans, because it's just like, why are you a fan of someone who's gonna literally empty your entire pockets just to go see them in person? He could put his ticket sales lower, but then it's like, oh, how am I gonna help myself? How is he gonna get paid? He's making bread. He can go on tour and pull in $1 million less. It's not like he doesn't already lose hundreds of thousands while throwing his money out there to stake bets. He can lose $1 million or $2 million because he wants to make sure that his fans, his real fans, can pay for their tickets to go see him in person, sing the same songs they'll hear him singing on Apple Music just from a studio, But I'm not saying that he has to do that, but it would be more logical than making some of those fans that most definitely come from like marginalized communities or just quite simply couldn't afford to pay top dollar for your tickets as many of these popular artists may charge. And the worst part be like, half of these people's favorite artists know, like, hey, my number one fan or number two fan or wherever people may consider them, it's not a billionaire, not a millionaire. But I just never would understand that about people loving Drake. I don't think that he's an incredible being who deserves the world, because it's just too much he has going on. Couldn't get Nicki Minaj, dropped a diss track on nigga she was with. All this crap. I don't really know, cause I don't keep up to date with him, but I do know that he's a pretty corny guy. All these little things, like, think about his history. Like, is this a guy that we're spending $300, $400 to go see? A guy who has no understanding of like the sacrifice that you may or may not have made just to go see a show. Like, that guy that you love so much does not understand the toll that you put yourself to be able to afford tickets to a show that he was having in your city. He wouldn't understand that. I'm not saying that he should be forced to understand that. When you come from a scenario where reality is more far-fetched than many people may be able to anticipate it could be, it's kind of disappointing. It really is. And we're simulating practice. We're taking a big loss against Oregon State because I'm starting, so it doesn't matter. We for exam. It doesn't matter. World one in the arms of sword. Doesn't matter to me. So when, like, I consider everything. I can never be a Drake fan. I'll listen to his music, I'll let it play, but Drake isn't a priority. I would listen to Ye all day long, support Ye, you know what I mean? But I ain't spending $300 to go see Ye, no. Maybe not even $200, depending upon how much money I got. But Drake ain't never get my money because he ain't never done that for the community. He ain't created issues, clothes, he's opened up his brain. He's been more broader on his expectations. You know, just saying.
First down here for the offense. Trying to start the drive with a pass. Finds the tight end. And the defense had that one well covered, just a short gain there. Let's see what they've got on second down. To the air, it's Kramer. Quickly out to the tight end. And a good job in coverage there as they stop it after just a few. Now they'll face 3rd and 4 in their first possession of the game. From the gun, wants to pass. Catch in the middle, it's Brown. And he's brought down at the 40-yard line, and that'll be it. First down.
When it comes to the Drake, all the Drake fans can keep him. I'd rather listen to Ye and his rants on Drake chants rather than sit here and listen to Drake rap about something that ain't nothing.
And they pick up just a few on that completion.
A nice job by the defense there tackling the catch.
They line up with some serious work to do if they want to convert this one. On 3rd and long, try to convert through the air. And that pass is intercepted. And after the interception and the turnover, this defense has...
He's done it. I have nothing to do with that. As you can see, he targeted me and I tried to dive and catch
first down. Wide receiver coming across in motion. The inside handoff. And he's swallowed up at the line of scrimmage by the big defensive tackle. They got nothing on the last play. It's 2nd and 10. He's looking to throw.
I couldn't have been more open.
Just goes
couldn't
right
have been more open in that scenario.
Brings up 3rd down. Man, he will be...
It's really time to whip out the corner routes. Like, I didn't think I would have to do this early in our college career, but
the give out of the gun. And he'll pick up 1. It brings up 2nd and 9.
This offensive line better figure out a plan for this D tackle. He is tough to block with one guy. You might want to start double teaming him. He's going to be a problem moving forward. You saw all of his ability on that last play.
Motion from the offense. He's back to throw on 2nd down. Gets it out fast. And he's able to bounce off one tackle for a solid pickup.
I was already running the corner out. There's no point in trying to do nothing extra there. I was just trying to see if I can pull him inside, force him to fall for the one move.
First down for this offense.
Good, I got you.
He's looking to throw it. Unloads to the right. Tremendous awareness along the sideline and the ability to get the foot down for the big pickup.
But, you know, everyone got their preference. But me as a young black man who understands the perspective of a lot of...
He's brought down, but there's a flag on the field. Let's see what the call is.
Some of the more creative artists of our generation are saying, I personally connect with that more than I would ever connect with a Drake or any artist like him. That's all perspective. You know, some people support Drake because they connect with him, and I understand a lot of the ones that do connect with Drake are quite simply Drakes. You know, like they're not who they pretend they say they are. I know a lot of Drakes. I know a lot of perpetrators and pretenders who are completely the way they are by design, rather than development or realistic perspective of creation. Sorry. I know a lot of people like that. But it's good for them. I'm glad it's them and not me. I know I'm real enough to connect with guys that understand real life, rather than a guy who's been...
Looking to throw, it's Kramer. Fires left. Just flying through the air like a superhero to make the grab.
You know, rather than a guy like...
The offense set for a first down play. He's going to pass. quickly to the tight end. And he'll run across the sidelines after the good gain.
Well, they just meet up. I ain't really know.
Second and medium.
I just hate how these men is so loved and praised, bro. I hate that because there's some guys out here, artists who are probably far more creative, probably far more compassionate about what they do.
First down here for the offense.
And then there's Drake, who receives the praise that a lot of those guys may or may not deserve.
To start the drive.
Oh my God.
Snags it over the middle.
Love the location of the throw on that slant pass. Put it out in front of the receiver, put it on his face mask.
Anyway, I think Jaden Daniels is going to be a very good quarterback. In my opinion, I got Washington going 7-9, or 7-10, 6-1, whatever it is. That we can go. I don't think we're going to be really good this year because he's just starting. And defenses are far more intricate than they were in preseasons when there's film on you now. You know, that's the negative part about being new. Is that now everybody knows what you can and can't do, and if you don't perform to a level where the expectations are extremely high for you, then you're disappointing a lot of people. Would you rather disappoint a lot of people or perform to a high level because you possibly just quite simply can just do that because you're capable of doing so? It's a lot of questions to be thrown onto you. Like, even with being a college athlete in rugby, I know the things that I could do when I was playing a not so serious sport like flag football was far easier. I can just get open, run my play, and get open. I didn't have to run full speed, head down, be the most incredible player because there was guys around me that were expected to do that. So my workload was far lower. I didn't have to be the fastest athlete, but I was one of the most efficient players because I did what I played to my strengths. But once everyone understands what your strengths may or may not be, it's a far bigger.
He wants to throw. Shoots it to the left. Excellent coverage and good use of the hands to
far bigger deal. So in my opinion, I think Jaden Daniels will be good for Washington. I don't think we're playoff ready in any way, shape, or form. We can't hold on to wide receivers. We can't figure out what's going on with our tight ends. Running back room, we finally figured that out. But where's our D-line, you know? Are we still on the same page? Are Deron and John going to end up fighting on the sideline when we lose to Dallas by 50 again? You know, and I'm not saying that in a negative term because I love those guys. Those are some of my favorite players. But it was just a negative look. Once you give yourself that look, you're completely stuck with that look for life. It's just development. Development is key. You know, I'm the guy this summer that was thinking, hey, maybe we should trade Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne because they are high market value players. Trade them in a pick or a high round pick for a really good player and build around that. You know, it's not like you can get a new D tackle every day, but you know, I'd rather try finding new D tackles because we got rid of a good one for the development and building around a possible key piece in our offense than holding on to an older guy who's been more consistent than ever and expecting the same results. We know what he's going to do. He's going to do the same thing he did the past few years, if not better. That's exactly what it is. He's not going to get any worse. So why hold on to someone when we've reached the peak of what his value? Where we can possibly develop another player who could possibly reach that peak value. There's a lot of possibilities that a lot of these coaches are not willing to assess, and it leaves the guy who deserves the most assessment in a scenario where he's fighting for the job that he was given, you know. And I gotta fight for what you gave me. I gotta fight for something I earned even more. You know, I gotta earn it more. You know, I just don't think it's a purely logical position to put Jayden Daniels in his first year in any way, shape, or form. And this is just from a fan's perspective. This isn't from an elite analyzer or anybody like that. It's just coming from the perspective of I'm looking at it like this. How would I feel if I was brought into a team and then the wide receiver 2 no longer with the organization because they traded him away because he wasn't playing up to par? Well, if you've held on to a guy for 2 to 3 years and you finally get rid of him because he wasn't playing up to par, I'm going to think that you're going to do that with anybody else. And I know that at some point in time he was of high value to you, but his value diminished because he was not performing up to par. So imagine what will happen to me if I don't perform up to par. But imagine what could happen if you try and build around me or you try to develop me in any way, shape, or form. Now we can really assess the possibilities of success. That's my perspective on a lot of this. That's my perspective. Even with like this whole thing with rugby, there's guys that's been here for a long time. To have a freshman come in and completely back that up, it's perfect. I got a guy on the left and the right of me that can completely take over when things aren't going good for me. I love that. I'm not the sole dependence of success or value. And it's not coming from me. I'm talking about for like guys that have been here before me. Like, when I came in, I know some of the bigger guys were happy that I was here because it felt like the toll is being lifted off my shoulders of being a bigger guy. But then they don't realize how much weight is being put on me. So why not try and develop guys to be able to take on that toll? That's my real question. Why not put a guy in a better position to where taking on that toll is nothing short of what we expect him to be able to do? You know? Why not? But these are the billionaires of this world. The billionaires get to make the decision, not the guy who's sitting here and completely understands perspective from maybe a lower level and not the professional level, but I understand the perspective in a more subsequential one, you know, something like that, of that nature. So for me, it's kind of like this whole Jayden Daniels thing is an easy fix, you know. Like, get him a good wide receiver too. We couldn't get Brandon Ayuk. Obviously not. Why would the 49ers give you a player to make another quarterback better when we know that one of the sole reasons that my quarterback is good because he has this player, you know? Meanwhile, I'll give you to a team whose quarterback has been in the league. We've seen what he can do, and even when he has some of the best, he cannot afford to play up to par. So I will send him somewhere where, if I have his best interest at heart, I won't send him to Washington. Why? Because if they fail, he'll be ready to leave immediately because they've been failing for so long. But I can send him to Steelers, who have been the most consistent team all time under their coaching staff, regardless of who the quarterback personnel is, and receive similar results. every single time. Washington is unexpected versus the Steelers. We know what to expect. They have two of the most highly decorated athletes when you consider their capabilities and athleticism rather than their success. And yet, people are questioning why they want my guy. They had a easy top of the line pick of Deontay Johnson. His fall off is insane. Ever since Antonio Brown, the fall off of the receivers there have been terrible. But now they throw in a George Pickens who just needs a guy who can truthfully lead him and not a guy who spot he'll be taking. You know what I'm saying? I'd much rather send my guy there. But I know that we were in the Super Bowl last year and he helped out a pretty good chunk. And now he wants out and he's saying he would love to go play with a guy who hasn't even played in a national championship game. Absolutely not. I'm not sending them the environment. But if the opportunity comes up in the future and that other guy proves that he's worth my guy's time, as much as I may love him, it may be time to move on. But when you assess the game on a more strategic level, rather than, well, he would be a good fit for this team because numbers says this, rather than really assessing it on a more relational, less business, more human perspective, there's no reason for Brandon Ayuk to be on the Commanders. There should have been no reason for Jaden Daniels to be on the Commanders. Washington should have held on to Taylor Heineke, kept Sam Howell, let Taylor Heineke and Sam Howell duel for the spot, because guess what? Taylor Heineke knew how to win here and there versus Sam Howell had no idea how to win because he was coming from an environment where he was a loser. So, in my opinion, like just more strategically, I don't think it was a good trade to make. I would love it. I would have jumped up and down in happiness. But then I would assess the fact that for a human being, this is probably one of the most diminishing decisions to make as a pro. I do this for a living. I get paid for this. To make this decision. And one man's success can be completely derailed by the decision that I have the power to make. Why not make one that's more in his favor than anything? And yeah, the fans may hate me for it. Oh, you guys didn't give us this, but we gave y'all Chase Young. But where is Chase Young now? Is he a starter on my team? No, he went to a far worse team. That's how I beat him.